Hey everybody, this is the Platinum Knight, and today's review is gonna be Days Gone. Looking at a game like this, the way I see it is PlayStation's answer to having something like Dead Rising. Seeing how Dead Rising 3 is a console exclusive to Xbox, both franchises have hordes of zombies all over the screen. As much as I like the campy goofiness of Dead Rising, what I like about Days Gone is it does a good job being its own thing and identity. It's kinda like The Last of Us if it was open world. Days Gone feels it tries to go with a more realistic approach. I would like to start off by talking about the story, but the problem is the story is so freaking good, it's just riddled with spoilers, and it's best to experience it for yourself. So without spoiling anything, people, the story is amazing. It honestly feels like a big Hollywood blockbuster. The story missions carry a lot of different nuances. Fallout 76, take note. Although there are some plot points that go nowhere, however, I think I may have found an explanation. You see, before this game came out, the developers showcased a choice system, but it was removed for a narrative plot which left some seemingly alternate paths in the game. Regardless on why they removed the choice system, whether it was because they were running out of time, the story is still great. You play as Deacon St. John trying to survive a zombie apocalypse while trying to get over the loss of his wife. Technically, these aren't real zombies, they're low IQ cannibalistic people. This is another zombie IP that tries to be unique, like The Walking Dead calling their zombies walkers, Resident Evil 4 with Las Plagas, The Last of Us with clickers. So for Days Gone, they decided to call them Freakers. There are plenty of different enemies that match names such as Rippers, Screamers, Breakers, Reachers, anything with an sound, and I like that. I think it makes this world interesting. You see, before this game came out, there was a little bit of controversy. There are enemies in the game called newts, which I'm surprised they didn't call them neuters or crawlers. And for those who don't know what a newt is, they're basically zombie children. Let's be completely honest with ourselves. The only people that get offended by that type of shit are people that don't play games. Also, if I'm not mistaken, but couldn't you kill infants in the Dead Space series? I also like how this game revolves around bikers. I mean, I know that bikers have been subjected to being a joke and widespread ridicule, but, I mean, come on. Every time I think of bikers, I always think about that one South Park episode. But no, this game does a pretty good job at making bikers look badass again. The last time a game tried to make bikers look badass was Right to Hell Retribution, and boy was it a piece of shit. I guess I should talk about the characters, starting with Deacon St. John. I've heard other reviewers say he's a bland protagonist, but I honestly don't feel that way. I think he's a good enough main character. I like how he acts so careless and sarcastic all the time, but deep down, he does have a sense of ethics. I mean, come on. If you were in a zombie apocalypse, I'm pretty sure anybody would become confused what are the right choices of survival. I like Boozer, how he constantly questions whether he should live or die. I like Ricky, she's cool. I liked the relationship between Deacon and Boozer. They are like brothers, and it's fascinating to witness how they have their ups and downs, but somehow always find a way to work it out. Although I feel Carlos was a waste of potential and could have been well developed than what he deserved, I also found Abby's character interesting, seeing how she's not a real doctor, but she is the closest to her camp has to being one. There is one other character I would like to talk about, but she is a spoiler in of itself, so for the most part, I think Days Gone has good characters, but lacking in good villains. Up next is the gameplay, because holy shit, there is lots to do. It's a third-person open-world game. I will say the gunplay does feel a little clunky, but tolerable. Surprisingly, the map is huge. You have a skill tree, you can take over enemy territories, bunkers, camps to upgrade your health, stamina, and focus. Focus is slow motion mode while aiming. You have to collect junk as crafting is a big part of this game to craft side weapons. I like how you can search police cars to find ammo and ambulances for health. I don't really know too many zombie games that do that. There are side quests where you can solve investigations, saving people, getting ambushed, hunting enemies down, or just straight up taking down hordes of freakers. You can go shopping, not with real money, but with freaker ears to gain trust points in different camps, which is interesting and makes sense. You have a bike with you. At first it's a little hard to control, but the more you upgrade it, the smoother it gets. You can't leave your bike. It has to stay with you at all times to save and fast travel. This means you constantly have to keep filling it up with gas and repairing it with some spare parts. Occasionally, you have to use your bike to get to hard-to-reach places. You and your bike are like Siamese twins. For a game that has lots of zombies everywhere, I'm sure it's challenging to have outstanding graphics as Dead Rising has a hard time, but in my opinion, Days Gone pulls it off just fine. The weather effects are incredible. You gotta love the soundtrack. But the most impressive feature would have to be the photo mode. I also like how Sony/Bend were strict to making sure this game would be a single-player story-driven experience instead of a live service. Okay, time for the tip segment. Tip number 1. Do not try to take down hordes of freakers at the beginning of the game. They're basically impossible to take down if you're level 1 to 30. The best weapons to use is the Chicago Chopper and the RPD. The moment you see these guns for sale, buy them immediately. Then you can become the ultimate zombie slayer. Tip number 2. Use bushes. If you're trying to lose enemies, hide in bushes, or if you're being stealthy, use a bush and lure them with rocks. Tip number 3. Make sure it's always sunny. Freaker hordes only come out at night. If you think it's getting dark or nighttime, just go to bed to skip some time. Trust me, I made that mistake of going out at night. Abandoned ship. It's go time. God damn it, run! Oh, are you kidding me? No. Oh. Tip number 4. Search buildings nearby camps for gas. You have the option to buy gas to refill your bike at camps, but some camps actually have gas nearby that you can get for free.
Oh no, Screamer. Fuel can. Here we go.
Tip number 5. Watch out for bear traps and tripwires. Crouch to deactivate them. There are also tripwires on the road to knock you off your bike, so it's best to drive on the side of the road as much as you can. Tip number 6. Load previous saves to avoid hordes. When taking over a Nero camp and before turning on the power, you have to take out all the speakers around or else a horde of freakers will hear it. If you missed a speaker, just load your last save. Be sure to save it at least before turning on the power. Alright, so you've been hearing me talk about the positives, but what about the negatives? Well, to be honest, there's not much bad things to say. Even before Days Gone came out, people were disliking this game, saying it looks like crap and comparing it to Red Dead Redemption 2. But guys, Red Dead 2 and Days Gone are two completely different games and can't compare. Although, I guess I should address how people feel the E3 demo was a little misleading. Now, do I feel the demo lied to me? Yes and no. Let me explain. Even though Ben removed some features, they also added features they said wasn't gonna be in the game, like having a difficulty mode. Originally, it was supposed to only have one normal mode. Days Gone has plenty of other features I mentioned earlier that I feel makes up for that, but I understand. It still would have been nice if they kept their promises. I tried to recreate the E3 demo precisely, and I ended up dying like 8 times. Another thing, and this isn't a criticism towards the game, but god damn those bears are super annoying. In fact, just thinking about it makes me want to have a beer. Relax, guys. It's just root beer. Well, to be fair, my first bear was actually kind of easy, only because I was on a building. However, like any game, I have experienced some real issues, mainly just bugs and glitches, especially when the game first came out, a lot of frame rate issues. But you know what? Honestly, I've even experienced some glitches that were honestly fucking hilarious. I'm walking on sunshine. Oh, oh, oh. I'm walking on sunshine. Oh, whoa, whoa. What the fuck? I was walking on sunshine! But despite its problems, it's still a good game. I legitimately had a lot of fun playing it. But you want to know what the best part about this game is? There's no microtransactions. Every weapon and bike skin is completely unlockable by playing the actual game. They could have easily made this a boring co-op monetization looter shooter. On top of that, Ben is giving out their DLC for free, similar to what Capcom did with the Resident Evil 2 remake. This game is doing everything right. Isn't it this what gamers have been fighting for? Shouldn't we be like throwing our money at them? And that's why it sucks seeing how this game got a lot of backlash it got when it first came out. I think this is a great start to a new franchise. Hopefully we get that better than the original sequel, and I believe they can do it too. I mean, it sold well in the UK, so there is hope. I'm giving Days Gone an 8 out of 10. It's got a great story, good characters, okay gameplay with lots of variety. I think this is worthy to the PlayStation exclusive library, but at the same time, I understand why people find this game underwhelming. I mean, it's one of those games where it's either you really like it or you really don't like it, and I understand both sides of the coin. Alright everybody, that's it for this game review, and I hope you liked it. If you enjoyed watching this video, make sure to give me a like and subscribe, and peace out everybody. I was walking on sunshine!